There is someone whose soul carries a profound love for you. Even so, this person has deliberately chosen to remain at a distance. Before your mind starts racing and searching for explanations, pause for a moment and take a slow, steady breath. The message reaching you now is not something ordinary. This moment, these words, and the timing of them all seem to arrive through a connection that feels greater than coincidence. Think of it as a quiet confirmation. It speaks to the truth your heart has been longing to hear beneath all the uncertainty and unanswered questions you've carried. None of this is happening by chance. Every moment has meaning. Sometimes life reveals its deepest truths only when we stop rushing, become still, and truly listen. Your inner spirit already recognizes what is genuine. There is someone connected to your story, perhaps someone who was once incredibly close to you, who carries feelings so deep they struggle to express them. Their emotions are powerful, difficult to manage, and impossible to erase, no matter how much distance they try to place between the two of you. Do not mistake their silence for a lack of love. Their quietness is filled with emotions they cannot easily contain. As their feelings become stronger, so does their desire to retreat. Loving you has become both the greatest blessing they have ever experienced and one of the greatest emotional challenges they have ever faced. Their heart knows this truth, even if their actions attempt to hide it. They keep their distance because you reached a place within them that no one else ever touched. You awakened something that had been asleep for years, something buried beneath layers of emotional protection. If you're dealing with someone who loves you, yet keeps pulling away, hit the like button now. As Carl Jung once said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. That is exactly what happened between the two of you. Your presence changed them in meaningful ways. You helped them discover parts of themselves they had never revealed to anyone else. You gently opened walls they had spent years building. You reached a place within their soul that even they didn't fully know existed. You are not simply another person in their life. You have become a mirror, reflecting both their deepest desires and their greatest fears. You reveal their hopes while also exposing emotional wounds they have never completely healed. They have never experienced emotions this intense, this sincere, or this difficult to control. Without even realizing it, you lowered every defense they had built. Around you, they felt completely exposed, genuine, and emotionally unguarded. Yet vulnerability was never something they were taught to see as safe. You were never part of the future they imagined. Instead, you arrived unexpectedly and transformed their world in ways they still struggle to explain. They never anticipated the spark they would feel in your conversations, the deep sense of peace they experienced in your presence, or the frightening realization that your absence would feel like losing something essential. This person remains distant not because they lack interest, but because they are overwhelmed by the emotional impact you have on them. You have become the one whose thoughts, opinions, and words matter more than those of anyone else. In many ways, you have become the mirror they are still afraid to face. Comment: deep love if you believe someone cares for you deeply, even while keeping their distance. For them, loving you feels like standing at the edge of a great height, without knowing whether there will be anything to catch them if they fall. Rather than risking that uncertainty, they stay frozen, choosing isolation instead of vulnerability. Their distance quietly reveals something else as well. Deep inside, they believe you deserve someone who is more healed, more secure, and more emotionally complete than they currently feel they are. They replay old conversations and past mistakes again and again, fearing that their unresolved pain could damage something they consider precious. Within their silence lives a constant whisper telling them they are not yet ready to meet you as the person they truly want to become. Hit like if you recognize that sometimes silence is not rejection, but a protective wall built from feelings of not being enough. They sense your connection on a level that logic cannot fully explain. No matter how far away they go, your presence remains firmly rooted within their inner world. Every distraction eventually fades. Every attempt to replace what they felt with you leaves them empty because their heart continues to hold onto the essence of your connection, even while their mind fears the vulnerability it brings. As Carl Jung famously wrote, "What you resist persists." The more they have tried to push these feelings away, the stronger the connection has become within their unconscious mind. Their silence carries countless words left unspoken, along with the weight of painful experiences that convince them closeness often leads to suffering. Because of that, you have become both their greatest source of comfort and the greatest challenge to their emotional peace. Subscribe and comment recovery if you're ready to embrace the possibility that their heart is slowly working through its fears. They continue testing their own inner strength, trying to discover whether they can truly stand on their own before they find the courage to stand beside you, behind the appearance of strength. They carry a burden that few people ever notice. When the world grows quiet and distractions disappear, they are left alone with the feelings they have tried so hard to avoid. Every memory of you reminds them of a truth they are not yet brave enough to face. They understand that reaching out would change everything. One honest conversation could reshape the direction of both your lives, and that possibility feels as beautiful as it does frightening. Their distance is not always a sign of indifference. Sometimes it is the only way they know how to manage emotions that seem larger than they can control. They tell themselves they need more time, more certainty, or more confidence before they return. Yet deep inside, they already know that no perfect moment exists. Healing rarely waits until we feel completely prepared. Even while they remain silent, they often wonder whether your heart still remembers them. They question whether there is still room for them in your life, or whether too much time has passed. These thoughts follow them into the quietest hours of the night, when there is nothing left to distract them from what they truly feel. The fear they carry is not only the fear of rejection, it is also the fear of finally allowing themselves to be completely seen. Genuine love asks for honesty, vulnerability, and trust, and those things can feel overwhelming for someone who has spent years protecting their heart. They built emotional walls believing they were necessary for survival, but now those same walls keep them away from the connection they desire most. Carl Jung wrote that what remains hidden within the unconscious continues to influence our lives until we become aware of it. Their hesitation reflects old wounds, self-doubt, and deeply rooted beliefs that they are somehow unworthy of lasting love. Yet another part of them continues to move toward growth. It quietly encourages them to choose truth over fear, openness over avoidance, and connection over isolation. Many nights they imagine what they would say if courage finally replaced hesitation. They rehearse conversations that never happen. They type messages only to erase them moments later. They picture hearing your voice again and wonder whether forgiveness is still possible. Every unsent message becomes another reminder that silence has never brought them peace. Despite everything, hope has not disappeared. They still believe that sincere love has the power to heal what fear has damaged. The longer they remain away, the more they realize that avoiding vulnerability has only prolonged their loneliness. Eventually, there comes a moment when the pain of staying silent becomes greater than the fear of speaking honestly. That is often where true transformation begins, not in perfection, but in the willingness to take one imperfect step toward the person who feels like home. They are slowly beginning to understand that waiting for the perfect moment often causes people to lose what truly matters most. They remain in the same place, longing to move ahead, yet something continues to keep them from taking that step. They can feel the universe quietly guiding them toward you, while fear keeps pulling them in the opposite direction. They try to quiet the noise inside themselves long enough to hear the deeper truth calling to them. They are deciding whether to continue living behind emotional walls or finally surrender to the connection that refuses to disappear. They wonder if perhaps you have become stronger without them. Maybe you have learned how to move forward. Maybe you are no longer looking for them. Even the thought of that possibility brings them a deep kind of pain they cannot easily heal. They would rather remain silent and carry the weight of regret than face the heartbreak of discovering they waited too long. Yet beneath all the hesitation and delay, one unshakable truth continues to remain. They never stopped loving you. The distance does not exist because their love became smaller. The distance exists because their feelings became so powerful that they no longer knew how to hold them without becoming overwhelmed. They have not disappeared forever. They are gathering their strength one day at a time. They are finding courage little by little. They are fighting a quiet battle within themselves between fear and the path that feels destined for them. They are learning, although slowly and painfully, that silence does not protect love. It slowly weakens it instead. There will come a moment, whether softly or all at once, when something inside them finally breaks open and they can no longer stay away. There will be a moment when their heart becomes louder than every doubt they have carried. A moment when walking away from you hurts far more than the fear of choosing you. On that day, the separation will come to an end. They are coming back, not uncertain, not halfway, not afraid, but fully present, completely honest, and ready to stand before you without hiding. Because this story is still unfolding, your chapter has never truly closed. Love this deep does not simply disappear, it transforms. It grows stronger through time. They are changing within themselves during the silence. They are becoming someone different in ways you cannot yet witness. Even if it feels like nothing is happening, everything inside them is slowly shifting. The distance has forced them to face themselves, and that is one of the hardest battles anyone can experience. Being apart from you has become a mirror that reflects everything they once tried to avoid. It has revealed truths they spent years trying to bury. It has stripped away the layers of protection they carefully built over time. Now they stand alone with themselves, with no one left to blame and nowhere left to hide. There are no distractions left, and there is no escaping the reality that being separated from you has created the deepest pain they have ever known. Instead of continuing to run from themselves, they slowly began looking inward, even though they resisted at first. They are discovering who they truly are without pretending to be someone else. They are beginning to realize that what they once believed was strength, such as hiding their emotions, remaining distant, and isolating themselves from everyone, was never true strength at all. It was simply emotional numbness. It helped them survive difficult moments, but it never allowed them to truly live. Numbing the heart does not create healing, and silence is not the same as genuine strength. They look back at you and recognize someone who made them feel safe enough to hope again, someone they never felt the need to pretend around. The time apart has given them space to think with greater clarity, and now they see with fresh understanding the things fear kept hidden from them for so long. They now understand how deeply you truly saw them, and that realization frightens them because being completely seen also means becoming vulnerable to loss. Being vulnerable means allowing yourself to care about something precious enough that it could be taken away. They are gradually discovering that the greatest danger was never losing you. The real danger was allowing fear to stop them from experiencing something truly rare. They are realizing that they cannot love you completely until they face the hidden parts of themselves they spent years avoiding. They cannot build something lasting while continuing to hide behind emotional defenses. They cannot move closer to you while carrying the heavy weight of wounds they have never healed. So they are learning a different way to live. They are slowly releasing old habits they once believed would always define them. They can feel life gently pulling them away from the person they used to be and leading them through difficult but necessary transformation. They were afraid of being loved because deep inside they believed they were not worthy of receiving it. They are now confronting the shadow aspects Carl Jung described as the hidden, rejected, and weaker parts of the personality that remain buried beneath the surface. But you quietly challenged those old beliefs simply by being yourself. You made them feel safe enough to experience what it meant to be fully human, and that frightened them more than anything they had faced before. During the quiet moments when they are alone with their thoughts, they remember the softness in your voice, the peace they felt in your presence, and the understanding that lived inside your silence. You gave them something genuine, and at that time they simply did not know how to receive it completely. They once believed that love was supposed to be difficult, uncertain, filled with emotional highs and lows, because that was the only version of love they had ever experienced. But everything felt different with you. They were never truly afraid that you would leave them. What frightened them most was disappointing you. They feared letting you down. They worried that if you looked closely enough, you would eventually notice every flaw they secretly carried shame about. What they are slowly coming to understand is that you never expected perfection from them. You never required them to be without mistakes. Love has never been about becoming flawless. It has always been about showing up honestly, staying willing, and choosing each other with sincerity. Every day they wake up, they feel the emptiness created by the choices they made. Every morning without you, they carry a burden that no longer feels meaningful. Every night before they close their eyes, their thoughts quietly return to you. No matter how much they try to distract themselves during the day, your memory continues to find its way back into their heart. They remember the conversations, the moments of peace, the comfort of simply knowing you were there, and they are beginning to understand that some connections are too meaningful to ignore forever. Slowly, one realization after another, they are accepting that the life they truly wanted was never found by running away from love, but by having the courage to remain with it when it mattered most. They understand that a love like this is incredibly rare in life. Their distance is not giving them strength or control. Instead, it is hurting the very thing they have been trying so hard to protect. Deep inside, they feel the universe urging them to move forward, to grow beyond fear, and to face the truth they have avoided. Rather than fading away, the connection keeps becoming stronger. What they once believed time would weaken has only grown deeper with every passing day. Share this if you have a soul connection with someone who disappeared from your life. They are realizing now that life does not wait forever. Opportunities are precious, and they do not come back endlessly. They are learning the difficult lesson Carl Jung often spoke about. There is no genuine awareness without some form of pain. Through that inner struggle, one powerful realization has become stronger than fear, uncertainty, or doubt. They cannot truly heal without facing the truth. They cannot move forward without courage. The fears are slowly losing their grip. The heart is becoming more powerful. The silence is beginning to crack. The distance is gradually shrinking. Something within them is preparing for the moment they finally stop running. When they eventually turn around and face everything they once avoided, they will do it with clear vision, complete honesty, and the kind of truth that only comes after a long and difficult inner battle. Because what they feel for you is not temporary. It is not imagined. It is not something that fades with time. It is a deeper calling, a recognition between souls, and a connection that reaches beyond distance, silence, and even the passing of years. Soon, the silence they once depended on for protection has become too heavy to carry. The distance they believed would give them clarity has started to feel like a prison. Every day spent without you feels heavier than the one before it. Every moment spent pretending everything is fine becomes more exhausting. The feelings they tried to bury are now rising to the surface with greater intensity. What they once attempted to ignore has become impossible to silence. They can feel the shift happening inside them, the turning point within, and the slow collapse of every excuse that allowed them to stay hidden. There comes a moment during every major transformation when remaining the same becomes far more painful than stepping into the unknown. They have arrived at that moment. Their mind has grown weary from fighting something too powerful to overcome. They are beginning to understand that staying away has never truly protected them. Instead, it has slowly taken pieces of who they are. It has stolen moments they can never get back. Whenever the world grows quiet and every distraction fades away, they catch themselves softly whispering your name without even realizing it. Their hand reaches for their phone almost automatically. They revisit old memories, searching for the sound of your laughter, the kindness in your eyes, and the comfort of simply being close to you. Again and again, they replay the conversations they wish they had finished and the words they wish they had spoken. They remember every time fear won instead of honesty. They finally recognize how they walked away from the one person who truly understood them, accepted them completely, and made them feel seen in a way no one else ever could. They think about the conversations left unfinished and the emotions that were never fully expressed. They picture themselves reaching out, and that thought fills them with both fear and comfort at the same time. They wonder if your voice would still shake with emotion. They wonder if your eyes would still soften when they looked into theirs. They wonder if your heart would still recognize theirs. They quietly ask themselves whether there is still a place for them in your life or whether too much time has already slipped away. The battle between fear and regret continues inside them. They are beginning to realize that every time they silence what they truly feel, they are betraying their own heart. Every time they choose distance, they also choose suffering. Every time they deny their emotions, they deny an important part of who they really are. They have become tired of carrying endless questions that begin with, "What if?" They are tired of existing without fully living. From a distance, they quietly watch your life without making their presence known. They search for small signs of you. They carefully read your words, hoping to discover hidden meanings. They wonder if you still smile whenever you remember them. Some days they feel completely certain that you are thinking about them too, as though an invisible energy continues flowing between your hearts. On other days they fear they have become nothing more than a distant memory. Yet the pull never disappears. No matter how much time passes, it remains. They are finally understanding something they failed to see before. A true soul connection cannot simply be replaced. Real destiny cannot remain hidden forever. You cannot permanently run from the person your soul recognizes. Type coming back if you believe they will return when the time is finally right. They have experienced enough empty days to understand that life eventually confronts those who choose the false comfort of safety instead of the honest vulnerability of the heart. The universe has gently guided them through a maze of meaningful signs, unexpected words that felt strangely personal and moments that seemed far too perfectly timed to ignore. Little by little, they have realized that destiny does not whisper forever. Eventually, it speaks loudly enough that it cannot be dismissed. Now they are finally listening because the thought of losing you completely has become the one outcome they can no longer accept or explain to their own soul. The journey from running away to finally returning is already unfolding because they now recognize that the distance they once believed was protecting them was actually becoming a slow and painful loss of their own spirit. Comment healing if this message touched your heart and gave you hope for the transformation that is unfolding right now. Healing is finally taking place because they have found the courage to stop running from real closeness and allow themselves to be seen exactly as they are without hiding behind fear or pretending to be someone else. They keep imagining the moment they finally return. In their mind, they rehearse the conversation again and again, picturing themselves saying the words they have carried silently for so long. I am sorry. I was not ready. I never stopped caring about you. They understand now that you are the one person who cannot truly be replaced. You awakened a part of their soul that can never simply fall asleep again. The realization has finally reached them that waiting any longer carries a danger far greater than vulnerability itself. It carries the possibility of permanent regret, a burden much heavier than the temporary fear of opening their heart. Every passing day reminds them that time is precious, opportunities are limited, and genuine soul connections deserve honesty before they become memories that can never be rewritten. Deep inside, they know the path ahead no longer leads toward more distance. It leads toward truth, courage, healing, and ultimately, back to the person who has never truly left their heart.